Welcome to the video lecture associated with the select statement. This is the first video associated with the select statement. We will have many others, but we start here. So we need to understand the basics of the select statement. This is the statement that we use to get data out of the database. So we're essentially asking the database a question using SQL. The select statement is how we do that. So we have various clauses that we can use in the select statement. The first clause that will be used, or that will appear in any select statement, is the actual select clause. That is a comma delimited list of columns and expressions. We're going to talk about expressions later. That's a little bit more advanced. That should be displayed for the user. So for instance, if I want to see the customer name, well, I have to list the customer name as one of the columns in the select statement in order to see it. The from clause indicates the table or view from which the data will be obtained. There can be multiple tables. This could be a comma delimited list of tables or a comma delimited list of views. If we're trying to get data out of the customer table, the from clause will have the customer table listed. The where clause is a filter, so it determines the where clause, and all of the conditions in it will determine which rows are included in the result. If there is no where clause, all of the rows get returned. If you do use a where clause, only rows that meet the conditions that are listed in the where clause will be returned in the result set. Group by is going to do categories for us. So for instance, if we wanted to find out the average GPA for students that take IT 117, we would use the group by clause. And the having clause gets used with the group by clause. You can think of the having, and we'll do that in another video. The having clause is basically a where clause on grouped data. Okay? And then there's the order by clause. The select clause is always first, followed by the from clause, followed by the where clause, followed by if you use a where clause, if you use a group by clause, if you use a having clause. And then the last clause that's ever in a select statement is the order by clause. Because that actually sorts the results. So the database management system has to gather everything up first before it can put it in order. So let's take a look at the processing order. The from identifies the table, right, or the tables involved. The where clause figures out which rows to be returned. If there is no where clause, it goes right to the group by. If there's no group by, it goes right to the select. So the group by organizes rows according to values. The having is, again, a where clause on grouped data. Then the select clause actually figures out which columns need to be displayed, followed by the order by, and then the results are shown to the user. So an example would be, let's see if we can find products with a standard price that's less than $275. So here we're going to use where clauses. We'll start off basic and then we'll add in the where clause. So here we've got a where clause. What you see on the right side in table 6.3 are comparison operators. So we can, use equal. So if we wanted to find all the students that live in California, we would use an equal to California type of thing. Greater than or equal to, less than or equal to. When it comes to not equal to, I want you to use the less than, greater than signs in combination. Do not use the exclamation point and the equal signs. Much more universally accepted is the less than, greater than combination to say that something is not equal to that. So let's go to Microsoft Access. We're going to go up and we're going to click on the Create tab, right? Click on the Create tab. We're going to click on Query Design. Again, we do not need this show table, right? This show table is for using a graphical user interface. We don't need that. We're going to close that. We're going to click on SQL. And now we're going to start typing in our SQL statement. So what I like to do when I'm setting up this environment, especially when I'm teaching this in the classroom, is I want to set up my query window, and then I want to open up the table that I'm working with. So in this case, I'm opening up product. This product is the table that the example is based on. So the first thing I want to do is I want to select. Now the select clause is going to determine what columns are displayed. So in our example, we only want to see the product description, the product standard price. So just those two columns. So let's take a look at that. So I want the product description and the product standard. That's not how you spell standard. Standard price. All right, so we got the product description and the product standard price. So those are the two columns that will be displayed. They have to be valid column names. If they're not valid column names, I'm going to get error messages. And maybe we'll look at an error message in a moment. It is typical to put the from clause, to put all the different clauses on different rows, right? So I gave myself a line feed. So I'm going to say from product T. Right, it's not case sensitive as far as that goes. The select keyword, all the keywords should be capitalized. That's kind of an industry standard. There are people that don't, and that's fine. It'll still work, but I want you to capitalize them all when you're doing it. So if I executed this, if I clicked on the run, this is going to run, and this is going to show me all of the records. Right. So if I look at the table, product T has 8 records in it. You can see that in the record on the bottom. Right, so you see current record 1 of 8. So I know there are 8 records in there. When I look at my query results shows all 8. Okay, so now what I want to do is I want to go back to the SQL view of this, so I can put in my where clause. What I'm going to do is right up where that right up in the upper left-hand corner of the ribbon, I'm going to click on the down arrow for the view to get a list of views. I'm going to go down and click on SQL view to bring me back to my SQL view. And now I'm going to put in my where clause. So where product standard price is less than $275. I can't use my keypad. Less than $275. I think that's what we were looking for, right? Where product standard price is less than $275. So you have to remember that as far as the database is concerned, you may look at the product table and you may see those dollar signs. You do not use dollar signs in SQL, right? So now when I run it, now I don't get all 8 back. I only get the products whose product standard price is less than 275. Okay, you see that. So I've got the computer desk, right? If I scan up, I also have the coffee table and the end table. Those are the products that are less than 275. So that is the basics of how to create a select statement. We're going to get into much more complicated ones, but that is the basics. And again, once you're done with that, you can click to close the query window. I'm not going to save that query. You can close the product table. I'm going to click on the chevrons to close the tables. This way the database is ready for me to use the next time I want to use it. And that is the end of the select statement basics.